Hey folks, it's Bob from OddsJam. This is my 3 steps to positive EV success. Let me tell you something, folks. I've been with OddsJam a year and 6 months and about $12,000 in profit. About 8,000 of that is positive EV. So I know it works. And I've got a little system that is actually easy to learn and easy to do and doesn't take a very long time. That's a big part of being able to make money sports betting, because long term, positive EV is what is going to make you the most money long term. That's what you're looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Okay? I have some ways to filter, using the filters to my advantage and using the market width to my advantage. Something that I think people have quit paying attention to, and I'm a big proponent of it. It was a big part of positive EV when I started with OddsJam, and it continues to be a very important component to positive EV success. So with that, let's get into my 3 steps to positive EV success. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to share my bet tracker. Okay. So here's where I'm at right now. $11,964 in total profit, 8,093 bets, 53% won. I know I'm not beating the closing line value. I'm pretty well at 8% profit margin per wager. And the majority of that profit, $7,928, is positive EV. Now, there's some normal betting in there from my hockey videos and my baseball videos. But the majority of my profit comes from positive EV. I wanted to share that with you because when I talk about what the first step is, it'll make more sense to you. So Alex wrote this article, The Bible of Sports Betting, back in August of last year, okay? And it still rings true today, okay? The most important part of this article for me is the part that says, please do read. And by the way, I'm going to share the URL to this article in the description of this video. Very important for you to click on it and go read it. So we created default filters, which we used to not have, okay? We call them recommended filters. They were from bets that we would hit from OddsJam, okay? Less positive EV bets available, but highly profitable. They're the sharpest bets we have, but the sample size is large, 250 plus, and you should be up money, okay? We know not every bet is going to win, but the one thing that you have to understand, and this is part of bankroll management. Part of bankroll management, okay? Being responsible with your bankroll. As you see profits from positive EV betting with OddsJam, increase your unit size, but don't increase it until you see profit. One of the mistakes that people make is that they don't go into their bankroll settings and do what they need to do right off the bat. So that is another thing that I want to approach. This is my recommendation. You go to your profile, you click on bankroll settings. I'm going to set mine at 2,500. My Kelly multiplier, this defaults to 0.5, and I will set it to 0.25. Now, why is that? Well, you know what? You're going to find out here in a bit when we go to the positive EV page. Just remember one thing, folks. A guy who started with a $500 bankroll has amassed almost $12,000 in profit in a year and a half. I'm a small bettor. I'm a $25 unit bettor, but I've still been able to have that kind of profit. You know what? That proves to me, it should prove to you, how effective positive EV is. So let's go to the positive EV page here now. And let's set ourselves up for recommended filters. Now, as you can see here, the recommended filters are on. If I click this way, this little toggle, they're off. I click here, now they're on. I have today's date range set. As you can see here, you could filter out your sports books. You could go to your save filters and date range, but those are the only filters you can touch when the recommended filters are on. Now, what we've come up with, remember we went to the bankroll settings. We have a recommended bet size, okay? And as you can see here, what do we got? 75, 80, 90. We got $100 on 6 bets, okay? If we were to bet every one of these and they all lost, we're not going to kill our bankroll, okay? We're not going to kill our bankroll. But you got to believe in the system. And if they were all to lose, that doesn't mean that you quit betting them, because this is a volume type situation. Remember, 250 plus bets and you'll see profit. I make 20 to 40 bets a day, okay? That's the kind of rhythm that you've got to get into. You've got to get into that rhythm of sports betting on a daily basis. Now, I'm going to tell you, the next step, and the next 2 steps actually, are my steps. Something a little different than what you have seen from other people. And I'm going to show you here in just a second. Okay, now for step 2 of my positive EV success steps. I come over here now, I'm going to turn these recommended filters off. I'm going to go to market and I'm going to click off the player props. As you can see, there's a drop down there. Then I'm going to go to market with, and I'm going to make it a maximum of 25. Now, why 25 maximum? If you go right here, right next to whip, this column here, which by the way, is how I learned to do positive EV back in the early days. You click on that little question mark, it explains what market width is. You and I, as sports bettors, are going to use market width to help us narrow down opportunities to bets where the sports books are much more confident in their lines. But the optimum width should be 25 or below for main and alternate markets. So as you can see, this play is highlighted, of course. Let's click on it and kind of review it. All right. So the Washington Mystics plus 4.5, Pinnacle or Penny has this at minus 121. The average odds are minus 120. Everybody is on this play. Okay. BetMGM's kind of confused. They've got it the same on both sides. But pretty well, the advantage is everybody's on that. That's why such a low market width here. When we take the VIG or the juice out of this minus 121, we wind up with a no VIG fair odds of minus 114.37. I want to point out something. We used to not have this column. You used to have to go and grab the no VIG calculator the no vig fair odds calculator to come up with the no vig fair odds. We've got it at minus 114.37. We can get this at minus 110 on BetMGM. It's positive EV. We beat the no vig fair odds. We beat Pinnacle. We even beat the average odds. And 1.85% play. The difference between no vig and what we get it on the books. And here, this column here, the recommended bet size, we used to not have this either. Now we've rounded it to where if you click on the calculator here, it says the amount to wager is $15.26. So we rounded it down to an even 15. Why is that? Because we're trying to keep you from getting limited in the books. Never bet the cents. Always round up to the 0 or the 5. The only time you're going to see anything other than that is when you're betting below $5. Now, when I filter these out like this, and by the way, you can save this filter here, name it whenever you want, and it'll pop up here in your saved filters. Now, I don't bet every one of these. Some of these will have popped up on the recommended filters. But when I'm here, I approach this a little differently. Now, this is me doing this, not necessarily you. I'm a $25 unit bettor. Now I'm deciding whether I want to bet $25 on this, $25 on this, or anything else, if I haven't already bet them on the recommended filters. That's how I approach step 2. Main and alternate markets. There's the drop down. 25-cent maximum market width. All right. That is step 2 to positive EV success. And now for the final step, step 3. Okay. We are going to continue with the recommended filters being off. We're going to go to our market drop down and we're going to click off the main and alternate markets. And we're going to click player props on. You're going to notice that there are no positive EV bets. Why is that? For player props, market width is higher. So you're looking at, say, high 20s to low 40s or mid 40s. So what I do is I come here to market width and I make this a maximum of 42. And now, boom, I've got nothing but player props. And by the way, once again, some of these will have popped up in the recommended filters. What it does by me separating the main and alternate markets from the player props is that it'll allow me to populate the page with more opportunities. I know these are low percentage plays, but because it's a higher percentage play doesn't mean it's going to win. And once again, I don't do the recommended bet size here. I'm back to, once again, being a $25 unit bettor. That's how I approach this. Okay. Now, I want to go through my strategy with player props. In Major League Baseball, I love player strikeouts, player outs. I like player bases, player earned runs. But player strikeouts and player outs are my favorite. And let me show you why. Okay. Let's take this Mariners Minnesota Twins game. I actually go to CBS Sports. This is something that I do, okay? This is just something that I do. And by the way, OddsJam gives you all of this information so quickly with positive EV plays. You can be nothing but happy about it. All right, so we've got Twins and Rays. Is that right? I'm sorry, Twins and Mariners. There it is right there. And we're looking at Mr. Bryce Miller. So here is what I do. It's really, really simple. You click on the pitcher's name, you go to full career stats. We're looking for strikeouts. This guy averages almost a strikeout per inning. He's pitched 69.3 innings, right? And he's made, how many starts has he made? 13. So 69.3 divided by 13. He averages 5.33 innings per start, okay? We're looking at over 5.5. He's averaging almost a strikeout per inning. This is going to be really, really close to him getting 6 strikeouts. It's a play that I like. That's something that I do with Major League Baseball. Now, let me go to the NBA, which I know there are no player props here, but I love player points, rebounds, assists, player made threes, and PRAs. Points, rebounds, and assists combined. I'm going to tell you right now, Nikola Jokic hit his over PRA for the season like over 72% of the time. And he popped up on positive EV a lot. And I'm telling you, I bet him a ton last year and made a ton of money off of him last year. Also, guys like Embiid and LeBron and Giannis are good on that. I stay away from steals and turnovers and block shots because they're too random. In the NHL, I bet player shots on goal. I don't mess with a lot of goals and assists and points because they are very random. I'm looking for markets that make sense to me that I can look at quickly, make a decision, boom, I'm betting this. Because remember, I filtered this out. I'm not betting every one. This is not recommended filters, okay? And then in the NFL, it's, receptions, receiving yards, rushing yards, pass completions, passing yards, those types of things, okay? So that is how I handle player props. And that is step 3. So, in closing here, I got to tell you, positive EV from OddsJam has made all the difference in the world to me, okay? Here's what it did, folks. It showed me markets that I never thought about betting before. One of them is the first half run line of a baseball game. Never would have thought to have bet that. It also is giving me opportunities and giving me an opportunity to make decisions on a bet, to find ladder plays. Ladder plays are awesome. Over 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5. You run those together and, you bet them all and, it wins. It hits nine runs and now you've won all 4 bets and they're all positive EV. When those pop up on positive EV, you got to jump on them. And more than anything, it's giving me confidence in my betting. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen one last time. And I feel that this is important, okay? So I want to go to my bet tracker and share it one more time. And what I want to show you is this profit over time as it pulls up here, because this is important. If you look at this, back in the early days, you could see a lot of negative weeks. About right in here is where we wound up with recommended filters coming along. And since that time, well, as you could see, a lot of positive weeks and my best weeks ever. I credit that to recommended filters from OddsJam. OddsJam is a great tool to have, folks, and we have tons of tools here, okay? This is just one of them, positive EV. I thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great day and more positive EV success for you.